The Galactic Survival Academy's Arctic hunting simulation had a perfect record: 0 survivors. For 3 centuries it had tested the galaxy's finest warriors, and for 3 centuries, every single participant had either surrendered or been eliminated within 72 hours. The frozen wasteland was designed to break even the most resilient species, and it never failed. Commander Jathic of the Krillian Empire watched the monitoring screens with his 4 eyes narrowed in concentration. 23 participants had entered the simulation this cycle, representing the most formidable species in known space. Voraxians with their armored hides, thermic saurians who could generate internal heat, even a cryoborn from the ice moon of Talaxis. All had been equipped with standard survival gear and dropped into the simulation's hostile environment. And there was one human. Marcus Webb, an unremarkable specimen by Terran standards, had registered for the trial against all advice. The other instructors had laughed when they saw his application. Humans were known for their stubbornness and their strange tendency to romanticize suffering, but they were neither the strongest nor the most environmentally adapted species. What chance did this soft-skinned biped have against the simulation that had humbled warriors twice his size? The human will last 6 hours maximum, Instructor Velmora had predicted with certainty. 6 hours passed, then 12, then 24. One by one, the other participants fell. The Voraxian's armored hide meant nothing when the temperature dropped to minus 60 degrees Celsius. The thermic saurian exhausted its internal heat reserves fighting against the endless wind. The cryoborn, supremely confident in its natural adaptation, failed to account for the simulation's predatory AI-controlled creatures that hunted with ruthless efficiency. By hour 48, only 3 remained: a Krillian warrior, a Xanthari monk, and Marcus Webb. The Krillian fell at hour 53, ambushed by a pack of synthetic ice wolves while crossing a frozen river. The Xanthari, who had used meditation techniques to slow his metabolism, finally succumbed to hypothermia at hour 67. That left only the human. Commander Jathic leaned closer to the screens, all 4 eyes fixed on the biometric data streaming from Marcus Webb's emergency beacon. The readings were concerning. His core temperature had dropped dangerously low. His caloric reserves were nearly depleted. By every rational measure, he should have triggered his emergency extraction hours ago. "Where is he?" Jathic demanded. The tracking officer manipulated the controls, but the screen showed only static. "His beacon signal is weak, Commander. The snowstorm in Sector 7 is interfering with our sensors." "Then clear the storm. I want visual confirmation." "Sir, the simulation parameters don't allow for weather modification once initiated. It would compromise the integrity." "I don't care about integrity." Jathic's mandibles clicked in agitation. "We've never lost a participant. If the human dies in there, the Terran embassy will—" "Commander," the tracking officer interrupted, his voice uncertain. The beacon just went dark. Silence fell over the control room. A dead beacon could mean only 2 things: equipment failure or participant death. Given the simulation's harsh conditions, the latter was far more likely. "Initiate emergency protocols," Jathic ordered, his voice heavy. "Send in the recovery team. Find the body." The recovery team, equipped with the Academy's most advanced cold weather gear and tracking technology, entered the simulation at the beacon's last known location. What they found confused them. There were tracks, human boot prints in the snow, but they didn't lead to a collapsed body. They led deeper into the storm, toward the simulation's most treacherous region, the Alabaster Peaks, where the temperature dropped to minus 80 and the winds could strip flesh from bone. "This doesn't make sense," the recovery team leader reported. "No participant has ever voluntarily entered the peaks. It's certain death." "Follow the tracks," Jathic commanded. They followed for 3 hours, the trail weaving through ice caves and over frozen cliffs with a confidence that suggested intimate familiarity with Arctic terrain. The human wasn't stumbling or wandering. He was moving with purpose. Then the track stopped at a cliff edge overlooking a vast frozen valley. And there, standing at the simulation's extraction point, a location that participants were supposed to reach to win, was Marcus Webb. He was alive. Frost covered his beard and his exposed skin was reddened with cold, but he was standing upright, waiting. When the recovery team landed their craft beside him, he looked almost disappointed. Is it over? He asked, his voice hoarse. Commander Jothic arrived personally to debrief the human. In the warmth of the Academy's medical center, wrapped in thermal blankets and receiving treatment for minor frostbite, Marcus seemed embarrassingly ordinary. How did you survive? Jothic asked directly. Your species has no natural adaptations for extreme cold. Your equipment was standard issue, same as all others, yet you not only survived but reached the extraction point. How? Marcus was quiet for a moment, sipping hot broth. My grandfather was Norwegian, he finally said. He taught me about surviving cold. It's not about fighting it. It's about accepting it, working with it. Philosophy doesn't generate heat. No, but it keeps you from panicking. Marcus set down his cup. Everyone else was trying to stay warm. I knew I couldn't, not really, not with the equipment provided. So I focused on staying alive. I kept moving, but not too fast. I found shelter during the worst of the storms. I ate snow for water. I used the terrain. The tracking data showed you entering the Alabaster Peaks. That was suicide. Marcus smiled slightly. Or it was the one place the predator AI wouldn't expect anyone to go. The synthetic creatures hunt where prey is likely to be. I went where prey shouldn't survive. He paused. My species has been surviving in Arctic conditions for thousands of years, with far less technology than you gave me. We used to hunt mammoth in Siberia wearing animal skins. The simulation? It was hard, but it wasn't impossible. Jothic stared at the human, understanding dawning. The simulation had been designed by species who had conquered their harsh environments through technology and biological adaptation. They had never considered that some species conquered through sheer stubborn refusal to quit. The simulation will be recalibrated, Jothic said finally. Good luck with that, Marcus replied, his smile widening. But I should warn you, I've got about 36 applications from other humans who want to try. Word got out that someone finally beat the Arctic sim. He leaned back against his pillows. Humans have this thing about impossible challenges. We can't seem to help ourselves. Commander Jothic left the medical center with a new appreciation for the species from Terra. Their bodies were soft and their natural adaptations minimal, but they possessed something far more dangerous. The absolute refusal to accept that anything was truly impossible. The Galactic Survival Academy's Arctic hunting simulation no longer had a perfect record. A human had vanished into the snowstorm and emerged victorious not through strength or natural adaptation, but through the one trait that made humanity truly terrifying. They simply would not quit. The simulation would be recalibrated, but Jothic suspected it wouldn't matter. More humans would come and they would find a way. They always did. That was what made them human.